Hello and welcome to the Messages and Methods Livecast Live 2.0 live stream podcast hosted by Encore entrepreneurs Shelley Carney and Toby Eunice. We inspire excitement for content creation and marketing your brand and business while answering all your technology and digital marketing questions. Join us as we interview experts who share their knowledge and experience to provide actionable tips to land more clients, nurture leads, and position yourself as an expert in your industry. Chat with Shelley and Toby live every Wednesday on YouTube or Facebook. Was that the correct opening?
No. I don't remember we have another opening for this one, do we?
Oh, I don't know. You didn't make one? I
let's
guess it was Video Tarot you made one for.
Yeah, I made one for Video Chair. Sorry.
I guess we better just open it then. Hello and welcome to Headlines and Conversations with Toby and Shelley. Tonight we're going to be talking about That Was Then, This Is Now. What have we learned? And, news, headlines, all the good stuff. So thanks for joining us and let's get started.
All right. Well, you're going to have to tell me where you want me to get into the show and what you want to talk about first. But before we do that, I want to catch up with you. Number one, how is Kevin doing?
He's doing well. He's got one more week of treatments, one more chemo and 6 more radiation treatments to go. And then he's done with that. And then we're going to see Peter on Monday. You, me, and Kevin are going to talk with Peter on Monday and see if he's going to be able to retire. And then we'll know for sure. What else? My mom is doing well. She's in rehab. Today was supposed to be her 80th birthday party. She had her 80th birthday on Tuesday. Of course, we had to cancel the party because she's in the hospital for rehab. And so we carry on. And
we do have plans to go visit her before the end of the summer, right?
Hopefully we'll be able to see her before this. Yeah. Between
like
now and
we were
and
planning
summer.
to go to the birthday party,
right?
And we couldn't do that, but I would like to go see her before the end of the summer if we can.
I'd like to say hello, Mary Green, and the piano is just there for decoration.
It's for sale. It's actually, we moved it to Shelley's house.
My son plays a little bit, but not to the extent that we would buy him a grand piano.
So I guess we should tell Mary what's going on. She has the right last name for it, so you might as well tell her.
Oh, yeah, this isn't real.
Switch to another background.
Oh,
for a second.
I'll have to find one. So what's going on with Tobsters?
I had a busy Saturday, mostly prepping for tomorrow. Oh, that's a nice one. That's a nice little patio looking thing.
Yeah, sunny.
We can change our backgrounds.
Almost like a tree house. The tree.
Yeah, that's very cool. So I had a busy Saturday. I had, as you know, I bought a bed, one of those beds that goes up and down and keeps your body warm and things like that. And that's due tomorrow. So I spent the day kind of traveling around, picking up things that I'm going to need to get that done tomorrow. That's how I was busy. I didn't really do any yard work, which is what I usually do on Saturday, primarily because the wind.
It was windy. I know. Yeah. Super windy yesterday.
It was not.
I got so cold overnight. It was like 35 degrees this morning.
I had to turn the heat on again last night.
I know. Our house was freezing today because we had switched over from heat to evaporative cooler. And so we just put our sweaters on.
Yeah.
But I did do another podcast interview this morning with Ernest Thoughts. He's fairly new to podcasting and appreciative.
Was that Podmatch?
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
I did get a question from Podmatch that I'll have to check out tomorrow from a woman who wants to be on our show.
All right.
On our Wednesday show.
Hello, Huli. Thank you for your best wishes.
Hi, Huli.
I'll take all the wishes and wants and desires and prayers and happy thoughts that everybody can offer. So thank you.
So tomorrow is the bringing of the bed. They're going to deliver on Sunday.
Bringing of the bed. It's
To
like it
pick up
sounds like a
the old
ceremony.
one and replace it with a new one. So, but the nice thing about this deal that I did was they do free delivery and free taking your old mattress.
Right.
So, which is in this area is a pain. If nobody accepts them, you can't like take them to Goodwill. You actually have to end up carrying them to the dump yourself. And if you don't have
Right.
a pickup truck or a trailer, it's a
Yeah.
pain. So,
Well, we have a truck, but and we could have helped. But yeah,
JK Pioneer in the room. Hey,
that's right.
so we're gonna
Hello.
do a giveaway tonight.
So I got this phone back from Jared to give to you.
Oh,
The
okay. He's not
the
gonna use. That's
32,
not gonna use.
the 32.
Okay,
He's using the 128 you gave him.
it worked out.
Yeah. He said actually once he took the magnets off the backs, they worked a lot better. So
Oh, that's
they might
interesting.
have been
Magnetized in some way.
getting them messed up in some way
Oh.
having those on there. I don't
Well,
know.
I just haven't used them in a long time. I was kind of worried that they had worn their, because if you don't, what do they call it? There's a
Charge them every now and then.
well, it's charging, but there's a name for it. Uh, I'll think of it later.
Oh,
Yeah, if you let the battery discharge and you don't come back and take care of it every once in a while, it actually worsens the type of battery it is. Our drone batteries are like that.
battery
You actually have
maintenance.
to, what's the word?
I don't know. What
Oh,
is the word? Ask your audience. Hey, audience, what do you call that
the word
when
when
you
you talk when you use your
maintain your batteries?
maintain your
Cycle?
batteries. Cycle your battery. Well, that's one of them. There's another one. It's like
Deep.
process or shapeshift or something like that. I don't know.
Shapeshift.
So
Ooh.
I want to give some stuff away tonight. Can I share?
Yeah.
Ooh, that's very
What's going on with the lighting there? It's pretty bad lighting.
well. It's the same lighting that I am. I just didn't. Okay, here. Now you have to wait while I fix it. Ta-ta.
Oh, wait.
That's a seat.
So that's our book,
Nine-
Livecast Life. I've got one too. See,
9:22.
it's a wonderful book that Toby and I wrote together. I know a lot of people think it's my book that I wrote because I'm on there, but I'm also holding a little picture of Toby's. So Toby helped. It's we did all the presentations together, and then I took those presentations and transcribed them and edited them into blog posts, and then pulled those all together into a book. And it's full of great information about how to live cast your life.
How's that? You happier?
Yeah.
Okay, so here's what I want to give away tonight. Now my
And this is the now. And the coins and the postcards, that was then. So this is now. So you
right
get both. So that's
is now.
isn't that cool? That's like a little themey kind of a
So
prize.
that's as Shelley said, our latest book, Lifecast Life. Along
Aha.
with that, what
See?
we are going
Mary
to.
Green said my kid said the same thing about magnet on her phone. So
Oh, that's
apparently that
interesting.
messes up your phone. So
Yeah.
don't mess around with
Okay.
magnets.
So we're going to give away the book, and the book is almost 300 pages of knowledge about how we do what we do.
Yes.
Shelley and I do what we do. And we're
And
going
there's a
to.
really good chapter in there that I love about Toby's blogging history and how he got started in blogging and the AOL chat rooms and some interesting stories in there. So that's pretty
It's.
good.
I am. Every time you say that, I am surprised that you like that chapter so much. I don't know why. Like it's just
I love, movies about people's history that it's based on a true story of somebody's history and things like that. And this is kind of like that to
Hmm.
me,
All right. Yeah.
And so is A Gypsy's Kiss, if you
Yeah,
think
Gypsy's Kiss
about it.
definitely is, and we're going to talk about that in a minute. So if we get to let's say 25 viewers tonight, we'll do a giveaway. A trivia giveaway.
25?
Yeah,
We
let's.
got to 31 last time, so
Oh,
maybe
really?
we should hit 30.
You want to try 30?
Let's go for 30.
All right, let's go for 30. If we get to 30, we'll give away the book, 2 AGK coins, one with Mariah's Magnolia on the back, and one with the Gypsy's Kiss treasure chest on the back. So you'll
So get
probably
your friends
like that.
to watch.
Okay. Then we're going to give away a picture, a photograph that I took, and we presented it as Mariah's home in Louisiana, and indeed it was in Louisiana. And
That's
then
right.
we're going to give away a copy of the English version of the poem, the
Right.
correct English version of the poem. So if we get to 30,
Thank you, Huli.
let me show you what else.
Huli's sharing our show, just
Oh,
like
yay!
we always ask everybody to do. She's doing it. She's a
Yeah,
good.
absolutely. So
She's
the other thing
hard worker.
that I promised I'd give away.
Oh, we're at
Uh,
20 already.
oh yeah. The other thing I promised I'd give away is if we ever get to 100 viewers on one night,
Yeah,
on one Saturday night, right? I'm going to give away the last copy of A Gypsy's Kiss that was the not for resale. I'm gonna go off camera here for just a second. It looks like that. So this is, you can see right here it says not for resale. When you publish a book on Amazon, you get 5 free copies. They tell you just ask for them. They send you 5 free copies. After that, if you want them, you have to buy them. Like these books, the copies that we bought, these are, you buy them and they don't have the not for resale on them, right? So we paid for this. Now we pay the production.
author rate.
Yeah, we pay the what do you call it? The
Author rate.
author rate, right?
That's right.
So these are freebies, and they send you 5 of them, and you can't resell them. It says not for resale. They're for you to check out your book. This was a copy of the second edition, and I don't know whether you guys remember. I'll remind you again. This is the copy that Shelley highlighted with all the hints in the book, right? All those yellow highlights that you can see there.
That's right.
And so this is
And it's got all
one.
those great pictures in it.
Yeah, they all have great pictures. That's my dad and Uncle Carlos. And and this is the only one of those. It was the only
That's
one that she
right.
highlighted.
It's
Look at me,
super
this is me
special.
graduating from the ninth grade right there.
Mm.
And that was Tank. That was my nemesis. And that was Lauren.
You
In the
are
book,
my
she's called,
nemesis.
in the book, she's called Evangeline, but she was my little blonde girlfriend. So yeah. So we're gonna give this away. In the first night that we hit 100, we'll do a trivia giveaway with this.
And
So
one of our other winners, Lorraine, is here. Hi,
yeah.
Lorraine.
So we've
She
had 2
says
winners so
hi,
far,
everyone.
Lorraine and Jens.
Oh, we
And
had
we're
one
gonna do
other. Hey, Truck and Treasure's here.
Jack, who was it? No, it wasn't Packer Jack. It was
It was Hunter. Hunter? Jack Hunter? Something like that.
Can't remember. So those are this
Richard. Rick Hunter.
Rick, right? They should have them by now. Lorraine, did you get your book yet? Yeah, she did. Good.
All right. She says, hi, got my book. La la la.
Yeah.
She probably said it just like that too.
You know what
La la
I'll do?
la.
You know what? I do have a couple of copies of our second book as well. So I'll tell you what. So the
Don't
second
forget
book,
somebody specific wanted one of those.
Christy.
Mhm,
Christy said she wanted one.
mhm.
So if somebody rather than the Livecast Life book, if you would rather have the Women in Podcasting book, just let us know. If you win tonight, you get the choice. Okay,
You betcha.
one or the other.
One way or another.
And then some
Okay.
AGK coins and some AGK.
So you're going to tell them about the thing we did this week?
Oh yeah, you want to talk about that?
Mm.
Let me go over here with my new touch screen, and I'm going to share this screen. Okay. So you started it. So why don't you tell them what happened, how you started this?
Oh, well, I am a podcaster, a proud podcaster. So I subscribe to Podcasting News, and one of the newsletters that I get mentioned that PRX and Google Podcasting was getting together to offer this training. It's an accelerator, a creator accelerator. As you can see, it says the 2022 Google Podcast Creator Program Accelerator. So I said, well, gosh, I should apply for this. So Toby and I got together. We watched the Zoom call where they talked about all the rules and all the things you had to send in and how, what to do, what not to do, and all of that. And then we worked on our application. It took us about 2 weeks to get it done because it was intensive. And I think it was one of those kind of a screening thing. If you can get this done, then we know that you can handle the accelerator program. So we turned that in yesterday, and we hope to hear back early June. And they're only picking 6 teams to do this. So
And last year they had
wish us luck.
Last year they had 7,000 applications and they select six. And the cool thing about it is this is what you get. You get 20. So first of all, the first thing, one of the first questions they ask is if you're accepted, can you, um, what's the word that I'm looking for?
Can you shut down your podcast for
Yeah,
6
for 20
months?
weeks, for 20 months. Yeah,
And we're like, well, we already have the Saturday show that we don't have to give that up, but we can give up the Wednesday one for
right.
6 months.
Because it's 20 weeks of 5 day a week training that starts with a 1 week all expenses paid to trip to San Francisco, so you can do the first week in class
In
and you meet
person
all
in
these
class.
experts. And the
That's right.
objective is to what they're looking for is they're looking for people um, who are trying to get to to level up, right? They know all the basics, they have all the equipment, they've learned, and they just don't seem to be generating. We generate revenue, but it's not the kind of revenue.
It's
And to
not
be
really a livable wage,
right, it's not a, that's right.
especially not for the two of us.
It's more like pin money and
Yeah.
or toy money for me, right?
Yeah.
Um, so it's good for that, but there's a point at which we would like to be at a point where we're generating a living wage. Although, again, because I'm retired, I don't need it, but I
Yeah.
would like to get to that point at least for Shelley.
Give us
And
some of
so,
that Joe Rogan money.
yeah, yeah, that's what these guys do. So you get access to a network of industry experts, right? Mentors, program alumni, and guest speakers, a rigorous one-on-one membership. You get a $15,000 stipend just
That's
for
right.
doing it, and then reimbursement for the travel expenses. And what was great about it is Shelley started doing this application for us, and then down at the bottom they started asking questions about demographics. And one of the questions was, "Are you a military veteran? Are you a disabled veteran?" And of course, Shelley's not that. And we're getting
And the Hispanic, and I'm like, no, but
right,
Toby's all those things.
right. So we went back and we've reworked it so that there has to be a lead person on it, and it made more sense for me to be the lead person because I have more things wrong with me. So we entered. The closing date is tomorrow, so it had to be delivered by midnight tomorrow. We finished it on Friday. They said to give yourself about 3 hours to fill it out, and I think between the two of us, we probably spent 20 hours filling it
Yeah.
out. So we feel
Yeah.
like we have a good shot. Are we hoping? We don't know. There, like I said, last year they had 7,000 applicants. They expect 10,000 this year, and they select six. So and they'll select. We'll know by the end of June. So if we get it starting in July, the things goes from July to December, and starting in July, we're going to have to drop all our other podcasts. Basically, they ask you to do that until you get back on air in January.
Yeah.
Um,
We got a question from the room. Mary Green says, how many books did you write? Well, we have written 3 books. We got these 2 plus A Gypsy's Kiss.
Here, I will show you where you can find our books.
Yeah.
So if you go to books.agkmedia.studio,
There they
you'll
are.
see all 3 of our books. Now, Gypsy's Kiss in 2020, Women in Podcasting at the end of 2021, and Livecast Life just at the beginning of this month.
And if you have Kindle Unlimited, you can read them all for free.
Yeah, they do have both the Kindle and the paperback versions of the books. So
That's right.
we've written 3. You can find them at. Did you post that? Oh yeah, it is in this scroll down below, but I'll post it to the chat room as well. That's a subdomain books.agk media studio. Oops.
Another question in the room from Truck and Treasure. Toby, can you give me an update on the geocache coins we hid for you? Are they still out there? And did you add them to the geocache site?
To the best of my knowledge, they are still out there except for one. I can't remember. I'll have to go back. I'll tell you what I'll do. Let me go back and there was one that was found, or 2 that were found. And then there were two that were never placed, and I've got to go back and take care of that. I promise I'll do that this week, and I'll have a better answer for you this week. Once I do that, then I'll put them on the. I just haven't paid attention to it. It's my fault. So have not put them on geocache.com. But I will. Let me get caught up with them, and then by next show, I will have more information for you on the status of everything. And I don't know. Do you guys want me to add them to geocache.com, or would you rather have them out there, with the locations that we were given? So tell me what how you guys what you guys would like. Mary, if you wait at the beginning of every month, the first weekend of every month, we have a sale. We have an
It would be
Amazon.
every quarter.
I'm sorry, every quarter. We have an Amazon sale, and we make our Kindle books free for the weekend. And when's the beginning of next quarter? January, February, March,
June, isn't it?
May, June, July.
July.
Wait, January,
Wait.
February, March. At the beginning of April.
April,
May,
May, June. So July. July 1st.
Oh, okay. So July 1st, we will the first weekend in July, we'll put I say sale, but we'll make them free for the weekend. And we had several people download each one of them. The only thing that we asked,
Again, they're free on Kindle Unlimited all the time.
right.
And if you don't want to wait, go ahead and get them now. That's great. And we do ask that you leave us a review and let us know what you thought. And if anything was missing, because we can always update them,
Yeah,
That's what's nice about self-publishing is you can always update information.
which makes it a lot of fun, actually.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's the PRX training. So if suddenly, we'll let everybody know if we win.
Yeah.
But we'll be gone for about 6 months.
So send us your good wishes on that as well.
Okay, so
You got your news update music now? Do 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 do.
That's yours.
Oh.
I don't have it on mine.
Oh, okay.
I can only do
Well, you
this.
just have DJ air horn.
Okay, so I wanna talk about Ukraine and stuff, but I don't know which one I want to talk about first. Let's do this.
I put the Phoenix Ghost and AVEX Aerospace first, but you can do whatever you want.
Okay, I think I want to talk about Comrade Putin first.
Oh, okay. We'll move him up.
Okay. So there was news out of Russia this week. There's been a lot of news out of Russia. First of all, two more of Russia's oligarchs and their families were killed
Mysteriously.
in the past week and a half. In one case, they were killed by axes and knives, and then in the next case,
including their families.
Including their families, right? And one of them was in the UK, and one of them was in Russia. And apparently, then they followed up. And there were two other oligarchs that have died the same way since the beginning of the war. So there's a sense that Putin, if you say anything against him or the war, he's just having your family killed, which doesn't surprise me in the least.
They were oligarchs, so
yeah,
they owed their money to them. I need help writing a book. What does it require? Booking one of you to do it. Oh, we can talk.
Oh man, if we we barely have time to do our own.
We'll tell you how. We teach you how it's done, though.
You know what?
What?
And correct me if I'm wrong. I'm going to say this, and then you can do it. In our book, so I want to point out that in our latest book, Livecast Life, there are 17 videos that go along with it.
19
videos that go along with it.
In a playlist.
Playlist on this channel.
Mm-hmm.
So if you want to learn about all of these things that we do, including writing books, you can get a good start by downloading the Kindle version, whether you pay for it or not, and then matching it up because there's chapters. Can I do that on here?
Do what? Where?
Can I look inside? Hang on just a sec.
Oh yeah, there it is. Da da da.
Oh, you have to get it's within the book. Anyways,
you can get the guide for free too.
Are labeled, right? And there is a table of contents right at the front. Here, I can show you on the book. What?
Oh, the book. We
I got
have the book.
and we do have the book here.
That's right.
And I have the Kindle version. So on here, there's a table of contents that tells you all the things that we do. And in
Oh, you're
here,
not showing it. Let's see. Add to stream. There we go. And let's do this. There. Okay.
which chapter do we talk about book publishing?
I think it's at the end, isn't it?
Right here, chapter 16. Oh no, that's Amazon live stream. Hold on, I got to read it upside down.
Oh, that's Amazon live streaming. Yeah.
Building
Livecast lifestyle.
branding visibility.
Anyway, basically, you do a presentation every week, and then you take your presentations and you transcribe them, and then you edit that into a book. That's how we do it. Right, Toby?
Well, I thought it was in there.
Well, I think it is. Maybe it's in the first chapter.
But here's what I'll do. If you want to kind of sit down with us, we offer this to everybody, right? If you want to sit down with us and you want to learn what you do to publish a book on Amazon, we'll give you an hour of our time. We'll tell you everything that we did. Like I said, so far it's 3 different books, and we'd be happy to share with you how we did that. As a matter of fact, on our list of next books to do is how to publish on Amazon, because people make it sound a lot harder than it is, and at first it is, but by the time we got to our 3rd book, we had it pretty much all figured out, and we're just going to use the process from this point forward.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's not that hard, really. It's just it requires sticking to it. And you can even hire somebody to edit it for you if you wanted to do that.
Yeah, we did. And in the we were having trouble focusing on editing the
Toby was having trouble doing his half of the editing.
Doing my half of the editing.
So he hired it out.
I feel like a puppet.
Back to Putin.
Yeah, back to Putin. All right. Give me some screen time, screen space here. So I'm going to use the Daily Express because they're a relatively neutral reporting agency there in the UK. And they have a video there. And in the video, the reporters noted several things. Number one, Putin is, let me make sure this audio is not on here. Yeah, it's off. Putin is holding on to his table. And you got to remember, anytime Putin's on, you see a video of Putin, that's one of his people making the video or live streaming or making the recording. So they're not going to make him look bad. And I don't know how many of you, you probably, whether you know your World War II history, at the end of World War II, within the last few months of the war, February, March, April, Adolf Hitler had developed Parkinson's disease. And in the case of both Adolf Hitler and people believe in Putin, the Parkinson's disease was a byproduct of their schizophrenia. Now, as Shelley pointed out, not all people who suffer from schizophrenia suffer from Parkinson's, right? There is a ratio of...
There's not everybody who gets Parkinson's had schizophrenia.
Right.
Yeah.
There is a percentage of people with schizophrenia that developed Parkinson's. One of those was Adolf Hitler, and towards the end of the war, his camera people tried to avoid using his hand or allowing his hand to be in the frame because it was shaking constantly, and it got progressively worse up until the time he committed suicide. Putin has been been diagnosed from a distance as a paranoid narcissistic schizophrenic. And in the recent pictures, there's 2 things that are shown. Number one, he's hanging onto things with his right hand, and they believe part of that is to avoid having his hand shake on camera. The other thing, and they actually cut it out of the frame at the end of this scene, is his right foot is shaking. It looks like he's Have you ever seen people when they tap their foot on the floor because they're nervous? Well, schizophrenic or people with Parkinson's disease also have that attribute because Parkinson's works on one side of your body. It chooses a side of your body and it works on that side. And so that's the first thing. The second thing is there is, and this is complete rumor. There is a second rumor that he's undergoing treatment for cancer, and that's why his face looks so bloated. I've never seen him as bloated as I had in this video. And you got to remember, these are his people taking the video, so we may have to be dealing with something like that, and it could explain why some of these oligarchs who may be positioning themselves to do some kind of takeover, because they're all former KGB, or the oligarchs that he had himself surrounded with are all former KGB or FSB people that he worked with and who he supposedly trusted. So he's looking kind of bloaty there. Okay, so then I want to talk about
Well,
well,
karma.
yeah,
That's all I got to say about that.
yeah. Karma is because considering the damage he's done, and we're going to talk about what's going on there, to the people of Ukraine and to other people. He did it in the Crimea. He did it in the Donbass. I mean, for a weird reason, and it's that he doesn't have a reason to go to war with them, except that
Nope.
he wants them to be non-people. He wants them to be part of. He'll never get the Union of Soviet Socialist Republics back. He would like that to make them part of the Russian Federation, and therefore they're not Ukrainians. They're not Donbassy. They're Russians, which is amazing because he's killing them off. They just found
Right.
mass graves this last week with approximately 30,000 people buried in them. And these aren't soldiers; these are civilians. So this is very much like the end of the Hitler's move to the east as far as Stalingrad, and then as they were pushed back, the Germans were just killing Russians and Ukrainians as they fell back, civilians. And there's let me see if I can remember it, Sobibor. There's a Ukrainian town called Sobibor where the Germans killed all the civilians and then tried to bury them in a mass grave. And years afterwards, when the grave was discovered, the people of Ukraine, who were still part of Russia at that time, put up a memorial at Sobibor. And it's part of Jewish history as well. So they put up this memorial at Sobibor, and about 10 years ago, Putin had it transformed. It wasn't a memorial anymore. It was just a nice green park. It was relabeled, reprogrammed. So what?
Interesting way to put it. Reprogrammed.
Yeah, yeah. So one of the things that we talked about last week was the difference between information, misinformation, disinformation, propaganda. And so you have to start developing sources of information that are what they call open source. You have access to them. You can't get to the intelligence community, the information from the intelligence community, but there are open sources of information that over the years people have come to trust. Right, people who want facts and not BS. And that's why I'm introducing you to the ISW, the Institute for the Study of War. And these guys have both open and closed sources of information and intelligence. They analyze it. The people that work for them are ex-military professionals, some of whom taught at some of the military schools in the US and UK, Sandhurst, for example. And they've gone to work here, and they do analysis and they produce reports that are pretty well trusted by everyone who knows their work. They are apolitical, other than the fact that they're Americans, and much of their information is in support of American policy, right? At least the direction. They don't. They're not political. They're not going to They're not going to say that it was a good idea or a bad idea for President Biden to release another $800 million in military support for Ukraine. They're just going to say the U.S. released $800 million, and here's the impact that it's going to have the war, right? And they're not going to cheer Biden for doing that. They're neutral. Um, but the war is having a funny little effect, and they were one of the first to recognize it. And as a matter of fact, when it comes to reporting on the war, they do it with this blog of theirs that follows it very, very carefully. They were the ones that first found the intelligence that said that although the Russians surround Kherson, it looks like Kher, it's pronounced Kherson. Um, the Ukrainians hit the Russian command center with a rocket and killed at least 8 and maybe as many as a dozen senior officers of the Russian army. So they're losing their top officers. And you got to remember that one of the characteristic of tyrants is that they, when they have any sense that the army is against them, they start killing off the officers or putting them someplace where they can't do any harm or good, depending on what your perspective is. And so, not only over the years has Russian decimated the Russian officer corps. I'm sorry, did I say Russian? Not only has Putin decimated the Russian officer corps, now they're losing them. I don't know, 10 a week, it seems like. I know it's not that many, but they've lost a lot of senior officers in this war, and that doesn't help for organization. So let's talk about a little bit. Anyway, Institute for the Study of War, you can trust their work. I do. Okay, so let's talk about. So this statement of release is dated March 16th. And the reason it's dated March 16th is that was the day the US released a tranche of weaponry and supplies to the Ukraine. So they just keep updating it every time. So you'll remember last week we talked about the $800 million worth that included, nope, not that's not it. That's the one that had the javelins. So this one had the, let me see. This one had the drone.
25. Got 5 more to go.
Okay, you tell me when. Have you got a trivia question?
Yep.
So this is what they had sent. Let me find the radar counter mortar.
What are we talking about?
We're talking about drones. All right. Anyway, so
Drones.
this week the Biden administration released another 800 million assistance package, including. Now you got to remember that the Congress has approved all this, right? They approved a total package of 2.7 billion, and so far the Biden administration has released 1.6. I'm sorry, 1,600,000,000 worth of equipment. But this last week was an interesting tranche of equipment because up until this time, a lot of it had been for defensive purposes, right? To protect yourself. Some of the weaponry that I see here is offensive. At least moving out of the defensive perspective and moving into the offensive. And we're going to talk on the map why that's why it's been that way. Let's see.
So you have a theory as to why they've switched?
Yes, I think part of it is the fact that we expected that Russia would do what it said, which is it would be in Kyiv in 72 hours. Right. So what you want to do is give them defensive equipment that enables them to move away from the Russians all the way to the Polish border, right? So what's happened, of course, is Russia never made it as far as Kyiv. It has retreated all the way to the east, as we're going to see on the map. And even more than that, it continues to retreat. And I want to talk about that when I get to the map. So when there's an old art of war, Sun Tzu,
Mhm.
when you're enemy is retreating, you should be attacking, right? Don't let them retreat. And
Don't let them
so,
retreat or push them out faster.
well, don't allow them to retreat without damages, right?
Otherwise, they're going to leave damage in their
Yeah,
wake.
if they're retreating, because some armies, Napoleon being one of the best examples, some allowed their enemies to retreat and didn't go after them, thinking that that was the end. And what
Hmm.
happened in the meantime, and this was again Russia, 1800s, 1700s, 1800s. They were going into Russia. They were halfway there. The Russians retreated all the way to Moscow and the Volga, and Napoleon stopped and he encamped because he thought this was the end. And what it gave the Russians 3 months to rearm themselves, and they eventually pushed Napoleon back. So back over the line. Anyway, here are the let's look at these. So 800 Stinger anti. Those are Stingers are shoulder used weapons. They're heat seeking. So it's got a scope on it that enables you to target the system. You lock on to its heat signature. You fire the javelin, and the javelin tracks the heat signature. Now it's got a limited range, but if you do that within sight of the aircraft, it'll track it. And it's a rocket, so it's actually faster than the aircraft. Uh, um, the Stingers, 2,000 javelins, which are anti-tank weapons, shoulder mounted anti-tank weapons. 1,000 light anti-armor weapons. Those are also shoulder mounted. 6,000 AT-4 anti-armor systems. So there's all these systems that not only can be used for defense when you're being attacked by tanks, you can pretty much wipe out a tank unit with this equipment. They give them plenty of them. So here's the one that interested me, and that was these 100 tactical unmanned aerial systems. And so they were very, I don't know whether you remember, but when they let out the first 108 million, they said we're giving them, I think it was either 300 or 600. I think it was 300 Switchblade drones. And Switchblade drones, remember I showed you, are the ones they look like they're fired out of a mortar tube. They spread their wings. They have cameras on them, remote cameras on them, and they have a 12 to 15-minute loiter time, and they have a range of 15 miles. Well, so they set these 100 tactical unmanned aerial systems, and my curiosity got the best of me, and I said, why don't they just say they're Stingers? So that's your first thing. Well, they didn't say they were Stingers because they weren't Stingers. They are something called the Phoenix Ghost, and they're made by a company called Avex. They're in California, uh, uh, Solana Beach, California. And they are a full spectrum tracking drone. That means they see visible light, infrared light, and they can use LiDAR. So remember, we used to talk about one day we'll have a drone that has all those three spectrums able to read. They have a range of 24 miles and a distance from the operator. And the operator, you got to remember, is looking through the camera of the drone. And they've got a 40-minute loiter time, which means they can hover over a target area for, I'm sorry, did I say 40? I meant, did I say 24? I meant 40. They have a 40-minute loiter time. Now, I got all that information from sources other than AVEX. There is nothing about this drone on their website. And as you research into it, you find out that they actually had a contract with the Air Force. Usually these guys have contracts with special ops, but they had a contract with the Air Force. And I guess the Air Force said, drop whatever you're doing. We're going to pay you to make as many of these as you can in the shortest possible time. They're called Phoenix Ghost, and they'll be the new weapon on the field carried by Ukrainian warriors. Now, the big scare with giving them all this equipment right now is, suppose there's a battalion, an operational unit with all this equipment, and they're overrun by the Russians. And now the Russians have all this equipment. So what I learned was that the equipment that we're giving the Ukrainians have self-destruct systems on them, whether it's a 150 millimeter or 155 millimeter howitzer, or one of these drones. So if they were about to be overrun by Russians, they pull the pin basically and destroy the system. Now that's not going to keep the Ruskies from finding out eventually how it's made, because the Chinese are probably making them anyway. But these are bigger, faster, with a longer loiter time and a bigger payload than the ones they sent them the last time, and they were rushed into production. They had gone into like production for test, and the Air Force said, "No, we're changing the contract. We need X number of the, what did they say, 100 of them by next week or whatever." So AVEX went into overdrive and produced these things. But they're also kamikaze drones. Once they find their target, they lock onto the target, they fly into the target. They're not dropping a Hellfire missile like some of the bigger drones do. Grenade launchers, rifles, pistols, machine guns, shotguns, 20 million rounds of small arms ammunition, 25,000 sets of body armor, helmets. That was, and then the week before, this 600 Stinger missiles, 2,600 Javelins, helicopters. Those Mi-17 helicopters are actually Russian. They were left in the countries that formerly belonged to the Soviet Union, and we bought them from them. And
Did you see who Mary's comment here?
let's see, way back in the late 80s, someone tried to sell me a shoulder missile launcher for $100. Like, what the hell would I do with it? Well, who knows when you might need it? That's the first thing. The second thing is, if it was shoulder launched in the 80s, then it was probably a light anti-tank weapon, and it is basically shoulder mount. It's a tube, and it has a click trigger, like a up and down trigger on the top, and it's good. It's very good at close range. We use them in Vietnam. They're called laws, and they're no longer usable, and you can buy them on the surplus market. I don't think we use them anymore. I think now we rely on javelins and stingers, stingers for the air and javelins for the ground. So yeah, that was the law. LAW, light anti. That's Vietnam era stuff there. So
what's your theory? Show us the map. Tell us the theory
okay.
about why they're getting offensive rather than defensive.
Right. Let me see. If I got this. Okay. So here's where we are. And again, this comes to us from the Institute for the Study of War. This is the map that they're keeping up, and this is this week's map. And you can see that Russia has withdrawn from east from Kyiv. Now, at one point, they were surrounding. They weren't quite surrounding. They had a half moon around Kyiv, which is the capital of Ukraine. And then about 3 weeks ago, they started. They didn't call it a retreat. They called it a reformation. They started moving east. Now, there's two areas that Russia had invaded in the 2010s, and that's this area here, the Donetsk, right here. That's actually Russian-speaking people that was part of Ukraine, but back around 2014, 2015, Russia fought with the Ukrainians, pushed them back, and took over that territory. And the Ukraine was okay with it at the time. I mean, they didn't want to start losing people because Russia didn't give any indication that they were going to move further than that. Let me open this up just a little bit so you can see it. Can I move that map up and down? Yeah. So that's the Donetsk. So the striped things are Russian-controlled territory since 2014, and also the other part of that is down here, and this is the Crimea. Okay. Which was also during that period. Now, here's what the Russians did last week. So they all retreated to this area here around Mariupol. And Mariupol is an important industrial city. There's a lot of steel work done in there, and also it's a big port. It's on that small gray area here is the Bay of Azov, or is it the Sea of Azov? It is the Sea, Azov Sea, Azovc. And you can see right here at the Crimea it comes out right here and it enters into, well, you can't see it under that. That's the Black Sea. Well, the Black Sea gives you access to the Mediterranean. The Mediterranean gives you access to either the Pacific through the Suez Canal or the Atlantic through the gates of I want to say the Gates of Hercules, but it's Gibraltar, right? So that is Ukraine's primary port. All the wheat and corn and things that they send to other parts of the world go through that process. Now, also, the Russians have been taking these areas. The blue areas represent where the Ukraine are. What's been happening is over the past several weeks, the Russians surrounded a group of soldiers, Ukrainian soldiers, at Mariupol. And they've been fighting them since. And there was a point at which those soldiers in Mariupol made the world realize that there were something like 5,000 civilians in the same steel processing plant that they were fighting in. And the Russians were slowly but surely surrounding them and indicating that they were eventually going to overrun all of that and they were going to kill everybody. And I remember last Saturday or Sunday watching videos from some of the soldiers in there saying, "You got to help us. We're out of food. We're out of water. We're running low on ammunition, and the Russians are coming." Well, the Russians didn't. For whatever reason, day before yesterday, let's see, what's today? Today is Saturday. So on Wednesday, Putin announced that they've won Mariupol and now they can move out. Well, yes, they were surrounding Mariupol, but they didn't go to the fight at where these 500 Ukrainian soldiers still were, and where these 5,000 civilian Ukrainians were. So he just said, we're done. We won Mariupol. Take it easy. And he headed in this direction. He had his armies headed what I'd call, let's see, that would be north and east, I'm sorry,
East.
through the Donetsk and up in, I got to do this with my finger, up into this direction, back towards Kharkiv. So the Russians moved out of this area north and west, and now they're situated right around here. And they also moved south and west towards Kherson again. And as a matter of fact, Kherson was hit by several rockets today, mostly hitting civilian facilities, right? There was no military facilities. So they've spread out their troops again, and they're saying we're just reorganizing for a big attack, which is what they said 3 weeks ago. And that big attack never came. And they've basically fallen back from where the big attack was going to start, because their plan, of course, is still to move west from here, and they're just not doing it. They're kind of stuck there. And you remember we were talking about the 40 miles worth of food and supplies and equipment. Well, that is where it is, but they haven't done anything with it. They're just kind of sitting there. Well, the disadvantage to them in all of this is that the longer they're sitting there, there's equipment and trained soldiers coming through Poland into Ukraine. Now, you got to remember, this is 1,500 miles, so it's not there. This is not a small country or a small state. And this is a good-sized country, so it takes time to move things. And the roads and railroads have been destroyed, so it's gotten progressively harder. But they're getting these anti-tank weapons. They are getting some tanks from other members of the European Union. The UK has provided them some heavy tanks, etc. But they're getting all these javelins from us. They're getting switchblades from us, and now they're getting these Phoenix Ghost from us. Those are all almost indefensible anti-tank weapon. You can't defend against them once they've decided they're your target. That's not how tanks work. Now, you got to remember, our enemies are developing weaponry like this as well. We're also giving them anti-aircraft weapons so that they can fight off these Russian fighter bombers, fighters, helicopters that are bombing their and helicopters that are bombing their cities. So the bottom line, I still believe this is going to be longer than, I think we're in day 53 or 54 today. This is going to be longer than a 2-month war. But Putin and by default Russia have already lost this war strategically. Not only did they not achieve their initial goals, taking Kiev, and installing a new government, the guy that we're going to install was captured. They were going to install was captured by the Ukrainians. They have him in custody. As a matter of fact, they were about to trade him for those soldiers that were in the steelworks at Mariupol. So like, you want this guy? We'll give him to you. We want our 500 soldiers back. And Putin refused. He said, well, not, the generals refused. So, so strategically, they're not going to win what they thought they were going to win. They might get some tactical wins by getting a little bit more territory on their border. They might get Mariupol, which is good for them because it's on the Sea of Azov. And I'm guessing that what they want out of this is to get to Odessa, because if the Ukrainians don't have Mariupol here, the only other seaport they have is Odessa. And as a matter of fact, you should remember Odessa because Odessa was where those two Neptune rockets were fired into that that big missile cruiser, Russian missile cruiser that sank. And then they moved off. So it's an important seaport as well. Mariupol is better located and has always been the seaport in which the Ukrainians ship out all their resources, the wheat, the potatoes, the grain, the other grains. What else do they produce? They produce something else. I can't remember.
Oil?
No, all that
Oh,
oil.
Ukraine.
Yeah,
Ukraine, the bread basket.
well, that's
Pot-
what. Yeah, the Ukraine
Potato is
does
potato.
is potato. So the Russians have. This is where the oil fields are down here,
Oh, I see. Oh, yeah.
right? They're in Russia, so
Right.
that's their big
Mhm.
oil and natural gas resource. Now there's some on the other side of the Caucasus, but it doesn't go to Europe. It goes to Asia. So
Well, 3D Bronze says he wants to send me some money.
oh yay!
So, sorry I'm late. Has AGK announced their new hunt yet? I'm ready to buy. Where do I send my money?
We haven't hunted. We've been so busy with other things. You missed the first part of the show. Uh, you may or may not know that in the past, since June of 2020, we've written 3 books, and we've been very busy with. We do
You
produce
can find the books. We'll give you some hints, and then you can buy the books. And inside is a treasure trove of
of
knowledge.
knowledge and information. Yeah, yeah. Okay, so I think that's all I've got on the war. If you have any questions, let me know. The big challenges right now are um,
So you didn't
Belarus.
give me the idea of why are they going offensive now? What is the plan here? What is
Um,
the
I think the plan is to push the Russians back far east enough so that the Russians feel like it's not worth the fight anymore. Because there's a point, I think Russia is undersupplied and underled.
Hmm.
And I think it's what they're experiencing right now is a reflection of how disorganized the individual armies are, the units are, but also I think it's a reflection of the fact that Putin is having a really hard time making rational decisions.
Yep, he's a sickle bear.
Yep. So this is where you want to take advantage.
Yeah.
So if I was the Ukrainians, I would keep reminding the EU that I'm the biggest defense against the Russians moving any further west. So you better provide all the weapons and supplies that you can because we're fighting this for you.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. Holy mentioned that Australia bought some weapons from the U.S. to send over.
To the Ukrainians, yeah,
Yeah, to
they
the
were trying. They
Ukrainians.
don't have so. Australia, although it does make some small weapons for itself, it especially makes the drone style, rocket style, the smaller stuff. They don't make a 155 millimeter howitzer, but they can buy, and you got to remember, they're not buying it from America. They're buying it from an American manufacturer, right? And so it's good because that employs people and it puts money into our economy and things like that. And then they say, well, we're going to buy this and put it in your next shipment, basically, is what happens. So let's see. What does okay, Larry say? I got to move over here. Boom, 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 boom. Larry says, when my wife's family immigrated in 95, they wanted to change their first name to more American like names. So, in short, I didn't marry Sandy, and my mom in law is still named Varvara, not Barbara. Okay. That's cool. Very cool. See, it's funny because we all have connections. In some way, we're all most Americans. I guess even you could make an argument that even Native Americans at one time were immigrated from Asia. But other than that, most of us have a history of immigration. My families came from Spain and the Mid East, and then I have that Native American blood as well. But we're all immigrants. Where did I gave Kevin for his birthday? I gave him a 23andMe DNA kit, and he's pretty much England,
Irish,
Irish,
UK. Yeah.
Europe. Yeah, yeah. It's pretty funny.
I imagine,
Yeah,
yeah. Oh, of course, in German, a little bit of German in there because his mom was German.
right.
So European,
So
obviously.
I need to get. I do want to get one for the girls. I'm going to give one to one of the girls so that so that they can, because they know what part they are of me, but they don't know what part they are of Laura. So Uli says, yes, Toby manufacturers with government approval so they can be traced. That's right. Yeah. This is there is no, so the weapons business, the weapons trade business is a highly regulated, not only by Americans, but by other countries. So that's why it's so difficult to get weapons from one place to another without it being, scrutinized. Now, there are ways to do, there are black markets. There's a great book. Let me see if I can remember it. Dogs of War. Is it Dogs of War? Yeah. If you ever want, it's an old book. It was written by, he was a journalist. I'll think of it. It's called The Dogs of War. It was made into a movie, actually. But basically, one of the things that he did is he traced the black market
Jeffrey.
for
Oh,
small arms.
that's
So,
the music.
where were you?
Frederick Forsyth.
Frederick Forsyth, right. He promised himself, he was a journalist, and he said, I'm going to write 3 books and then I'm going to stop. And he wrote, let me see if I can remember him now. The one about the Nazi thing, and then there was I won't remember.
That's okay. That's why we have Google.
That's why we have Google. Anyway, he didn't stop at 3. He kept writing because he was really good at it.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, J.K. Pioneer says I saw the movie with
Day of the Jackal.
with Christopher Walken as the lead character, and he was supposed to be like a highly experienced mercenary, and that's not a Christopher Walken role. It just is. He plays a gangster really good. He plays a bad. He doesn't play a mercenary really well. It's actually kind of funny. Okay, what else did we want to talk about?
Dang, he's got a lot of books.
Yeah,
Phew.
yeah. He didn't stop at 3.
No, he's got like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5,
What's
6,
the one that's about Nazis?
12. Nazis?
Yeah, I don't think it has a Nazi thing to it. I can't remember. Let me see. Frederick.
The Dogs of War, The Day of the Jackal.
Day of the Jackal, that was made into a movie. As a matter of fact, it's been made into movie twice. Once with a French background, which is what his original one did, and then one with an American background. So if you want to see another one of his books that was turned into a movie, look at The Day of the Jackal with Richard Gere as the what they don't call him he's a protagonist.
Yes.
And Bruce Willis as the antagonist. Day of the Jackal.
Okay. Well, shall we move into localer news? The forestfentreasure.com you were talking about today?
Oh, you want to talk about it? So This has come up several times, and I'll post it in the chat room if you're really interested. So I went back to the you can see up here the Wayback Machine, the Internet Wayback Machine, and I got the last available copy, the last time they produced anything. There's one up here that really doesn't have anything. This was the last version, and this includes his last commentary on June 9th, which was what 3 days after the treasure. So what I couldn't figure out is down here. Oh no, there were more. June 11th, June 16th, and basically the person that's writing it says, well, it's kind of how we worked it out. Jack bought it from us or whatever, and now Jack's telling Forrest that he found it. So they take all the credit, and then of course they have the same pictures that we saw last week. Now this was June 19th, and I don't know. I was trying to think about this, how they would have gotten them on June 19th, but I guess
They were
Jack
released.
were they released?
Those were, yeah.
So it isn't over. Let's see. So here's the conclusion I come to, and for the heck of it. Early on in this whole thing, they say when they moved it from where they found it. Their story is they moved it from where they found it. I'm gonna post this in the chat room so you guys have access to it if you don't already. It makes for interesting reading if you go back to the beginning, because it sounds progressively more plausible. Here. You can find it there. And from the beginning, when I first saw this site, and I can't remember who introduced me. I think it was Candy that introduced it to me. I thought, well, this is interesting, and their story really sounded plausible. And then, of course, they at some point before early June, sometime in May, they said, "Oh, we have a buyer," and they were working out a price of some kind and how to make the transition, right? And so that finally got worked out around the end of March, the beginning of, I'm sorry, I'm not saying that right. The end of May, the beginning of June, and then boop, up pops Jack Stoof. So I thought, well, that's damned coincidental. How did that work out? Unless it was some really bright guy that could get the figured out and do a Toby on it and make it sound like a good story, because it sure sounded like a good story to me. Anyway, it continued to fit. Then I started thinking, one of the things that these guys said, and you can go back, I don't remember exactly when they said it, but he says, the guy that says they found the treasure and that it was sold, they say, we did take one of the items out of the chest, and we left it in the spot where the treasure chest was originally hidden. And since Fenn talked so much about the emerald ring, and since the emerald ring was noticeably absent from any images that we've seen since then, and if I'm wrong, correct me, but I think it has been noticeably absent since in all the pictures that we've seen, I'm starting to wonder if what they didn't leave behind was the emerald ring. So, and he makes some kind of snarky comment like, it'll be worth you. He doesn't say it's the emerald ring. What he says is, it'll be worth your while if you do, meaning if you go look for the place where we thought, or if you have a solution to the poem and it takes you back to this place, it will be worth your while. You're not just going to find a hole in the ground. You're going to find a place where a hole has been covered back up. But if you dig a little bit, you're going to find something. So, and if I remember correctly, the emerald was a good sized emerald, and it was in a gold ring. So neither of those are going to, in our lifetimes, are going to rust away. They're not going to fall in the ground. Now, just from the nature of Earth as it is, it'll dig itself deeper into the ground because it'll be covered with more detritus. Yeah, but come on, give me a but, Davio. I got answers for you, brother.
You got questions, I got answers.
You got questions, I got answers. So,
no, I don't think you've been in touch with Cynthia, have you?
I have not. What's going on with Cynthia?
Holy's asking. Have you been in touch
in touch with Cynthia about this? Is she looking for the ring? So I've watched her last kind of her travels over the last month or so, where let's see, so what month are we in now? So she decided to go to uh,
Still April.
yeah, she decided to go to Yellowstone at the beginning of April because she wanted to take advantage of the fact that they only allow bikes in Yellowstone uh, before April 15th. And she wanted to use her bike. And her plan was to go and implement the 9 mile hole solution, which I will be honest with you, I don't get. I don't see it as a solution. There's simply no evidence. It's, you know, it's, I don't think it's intentional disinformation. I think it's just misinformation. So she was going to implement the 9 mile hole because she's become convinced based on the conversations she had with Forrest. And I think to myself, well, you're not even looking for a treasure chest. Jack or whomever found this treasure had the benefit of not only finding the spot, if you've been wise and found the blaze, look quickly down, finding the blaze, looking quickly down, seeing that there was something there, and had the gumption, if you will, to start brushing away the detritus and finding the treasure. I mean, it was a buried treasure. No matter how many times Forrest Fenn refused to answer the question, it was a freaking buried treasure. Um, so now what you have, so we saw that someone dug it out. We'd like to think it was Jack and that he was being honest with us, but somebody dug it out, took some pictures of it in situ and
Situ.
uh, situ.
Situ.
Oh my God!
That's how they said it on Google.
Here we go again. We do this with detritus. Okay, you ready?
In situ.
So I did it in the female voice, so you knew it wasn't me. You ready? Here we go.
Oh, okay. But you played it for me another time, and it was in situ, didn't
No,
you?
no.
In situ. In situ.
Okay.
Okay.
All right. Uh, so I have watched her travels and maybe even travails for the past couple of months. And I think she's convinced that the 9 mile hole solution is credible. And her plan was to go back, and the snow hadn't left. She couldn't even bike in it. And the biking that she did was at risk of riding over ice. And then she and the group that she was with actually went in vehicles. And I think they got as far as Fenn Rock, which isn't on the map, right? It isn't Fenn Rock on the map. So I know she's looking, and if she were looking, so let me answer. Uh, so um, let me. How do I do this?
Nah, I don't even know what you're planning to do.
I'm trying not to be offensive. So if anyone has a solution that takes them back to where the treasure was hidden, my expectation is they're going to find the emerald ring. That will be their reward, because that's what the guy in the fentreasure.com said. Now, in my opinion, I don't think the 9 mile hole solution is the solution, so I don't think they'll find the emerald ring. I think it's someplace else. I don't know if there ever was a picture of the actual emerald ring in place in the chest. Now, there was a website, and maybe it was even that had pictures of several of the items in the chest, and I remember seeing it in those, but I don't remember where that was. Eventually, what we'll have to do is we'll have to wait for the auction. Whoever auctions it off, they're going to have to inventory all of that. They're going to have pictures for all of it, and we'll see it in the auction catalog, I assume. Can't wait for this court crap to shake out. So yeah, we were going to go down there on. We were going to go pull whatever documents we could on Friday, because I wanted to see how the Department of the Interior was behaving, because I think there's some confusion about that. The Department of Justice will not get involved. The Attorney General of the state of Wyoming and or Montana will not get involved. The Department of Interior can get involved to the extent that they can ask to be a party, not a party to either side, but a party in terms of information. And I'll give you the example that I think they probably came up with. So if the Department of the Interior believed that when asked where the treasure was found, and if, well, let's see, this is kind of complex. So let's say Jack is in his deposition, and in the deposition, the opposing attorney says to him, from where did you recover the treasure, or some convoluted sentence thereof. And Jack, because he's under deposition and because he's under oath, would have to answer that question in one of three ways. He could answer, I don't know, an indication that he bought the treasure from someone else, as stated in the Fenn treasure hunt. He could say, I found it in Yellowstone National Park at this location, or whatever location it was. Or he could say, I refuse to answer and invoke my protection under the Fifth Amendment of the Constitution of the United States, in that I don't have to answer a question that might incriminate me. The advantage to that one is he doesn't have to say where it was, and it doesn't have to be a useful use of your Fifth Amendment right. Okay. So let's say one of you said to me, we were having cocktails, and you said to me, what's a good example?
I don't know what you're thinking.
Here's, and forgive me, you can stop me if I'm wrong. Do you and Shelley fool around? Because I've been asked that question, right? And I don't invoke my Fifth Amendment right. I say, no, Shelley is happily married. I'm happily single, right? And I'm going on 18 years worth of singleness right now. Anyway, one of the options is if I was in a deposition and somebody wanted to know, I could invoke my Fifth Amendment right. Even if I wasn't, not even if, but even if in the conditions I wasn't fooling around with Shelley, I could answer, I'm going to invoke my Fifth Amendment right. Because that not only protects me, it protects Shelley, and it protects me from saying, Kevin ever getting mad at me saying, dadgummit, because invoking your Fifth Amendment right is not an admission of guilt. It cannot be presented. It doesn't say you're guilty. It can't be used in you that way. It's just assumed, oh, then you must be guilty. But you don't have to be guilty to use it. And I think I've said in the past, if I was Jack Stoof and someone asked me where if I had found the treasure in Yellowstone National Park, because attorneys love asking questions that have a yes/no answer. As a matter of fact, that guy that was examining Marjorie Taylor Greene, honestly, that guy did, and I'm not a big fan of Marjorie Taylor Greene, but that guy, the attorney that was examining her, was terrible. The questions were just terrible. Anyway, attorneys like asking questions that have yes/no answers. So that attorney, the opposing attorney, the one that's doing the deposition on behalf of McCracken, he would ask him, did you find the treasure? He wants a yes/no answer. Did you find the treasure in Yellowstone National Park? If I was Jack, whether I found the treasure in Yellowstone National Park or not, I would invoke my Fifth Amendment right not to answer. Because that doesn't tell anybody anything. They can believe what they want at that point or not. Now, that attorney is going to believe that because you invoked your Fifth Amendment right, he's going to believe, yes, you found it in Yellowstone National Park. If the Department of Interior, and the Department of the Interior, because they are the department that's responsible for the administration of all the lands in the United States, all the federal lands in the United States, they have filed a motion to delay his deposition to April 29th, so that if they want, they could be part of it. Now, the reason I wanted to go to court is I don't know what the judge did with that motion. I would assume that the judge would say, okay, but since this isn't a federal case, they're effectively an interested party. That's all. They can't even sit in on the deposition without permission of both sides of the case. right? They don't have any authority in this case unless they have evidence that we're not aware of that the treasure was in a national park. It doesn't even have to be Yellowstone. It was found in BLM land, National Forest Service land, Fish and Wildlife Service land, except the protected areas. Then they don't give a damn. The only time they could give a damn is if it was in a national park. And even if the Department of the Interior, in getting to be part of the deposit, the judge allows them to be part of the deposition. If that attorney representing the DOI asks, "Did you find it in Yellowstone National Park?" Jack could answer. It could invoke his fifth, and he wouldn't have to answer the question. Now, if they change the question rather than "Did you find?" This is the question that, if I was the attorney, I would ask, "Where did you find it?" And here's why you'd ask that question. Because it's open like that, if you invoked the Fifth Amendment, your Fifth Amendment right, and you said, "I'm not going to answer that question," the judge would have to assume that it was found in an area in which you would have broken the law to do that. The problem is no one still has the correct answer. So we'll see how it turns out on April 29th to see how Jack handles the deposition, because of course the deposition is Jamie McCracken's attorney doing the deposition, not the Department of the Interior. The department can ask, the DOI can ask. They can't file suit because they're feds. Even if they could file a suit, they'd have to go to the Department of Justice. And I can tell you from experience, there's one thing the Department of Justice doesn't like doing, and that is getting into state district court. This is the first judicial district of New Mexico in which this case is being heard. There's two upcoming dates, and I can't remember them exactly offhand. One early May and one mid-June. They're both Mondays. Oh, I have it right here. Hold on. So there are two upcoming hearing dates. Okay, one is May 16th at 9:01. It's a pretrial conference, and basically it's where the judge listens to the attorneys make their case as why this should go forward. That is very likely, since it's one of the exhibits that the Fenn side provided was the Fenn's death certificate. The judge can't ignore that. In court, the death certificate is a legal document, like a marriage certificate, like a birth certificate. It's a legal document as recognized by the law, and automatically assumed that it went through whatever process the state demands it goes through in order to produce that death certificate. If McCracken's attorney is going to make an argument that this is all based upon the fact that Forrest Fenn is still alive and 92 years old now and running around chasing women, which amazes me anyway. But if he's still alive and the opposing attorney, the Fenn attorney, says Exhibit 1, death certificate, that case is over because the case is dependent upon Forrest Fenn being alive. You can't make a case for Forrest Fenn kept the treasure from him. There is no case there. Several people, Erskine, Barbara Anderson, a bunch of people tried to make that case. Kyle Sandow, everybody who had a case tried to make the case that Fenn was keeping the treasure from them, that it was where they were looking, and he hid it someplace else, etc. Those cases have never gotten past pretrial. My guess is that on May 16th, in the pretrial conference, the judge will hear enough to say this case isn't going forward. Now, there is a second hearing on a 613, which is the docket call that is basically, if the trial does go forward, that's the first time that the attorneys will get to present their respective cases for their respective clients. So those are on Mondays, and I'm planning, even though they start at 8:30 a.m. and there's no parking in that they built a new building and didn't put any parking in it except for the people that work there. have to walk 3.5 blocks to get to it. Anyway, it's a Monday, so I'll probably go down and at least sit into the hearings and
Monday we
report.
lunch.
Pardon me?
This Monday?
No, it's Monday, May 16th.
Oh, I see.
So it's a month off yet, or half.
I see.
Yeah, we're doing. I've
You
already.
rest up.
Yeah. So I will go and listen to the hearings and see what happens, but I don't think it's going to get past pre-trial. And there is no ability. You can go to the next level court, but if it's based if your whole case is based upon the fact that Forrest Fenn isn't dead, and that attorney shakes the death certificate, the judge doesn't even have to look at the death certificate, right? It's a death certificate. You could at some point go back to court and make an argument for the process against the process by which that death certificate was created, and that's not going to get any further than pretrial as well, because if a judge allows that to go forward, now you've put the whole birth certificate, death certificate records in jeopardy of anybody making an argument. You're never going to be a good enough attorney to make an argument that death certificates in any state, not just New Mexico, are invalid. Goodbye case. Sorry, I didn't mean to do that. I just thought dramatic.
Dramatic.
Okay, Jack is online too. Yeah, wouldn't that be great if we could call him? I mean, he could call us and tell us what you think. So, Jack's not talking. Jack, I think I'm on the Forrest Fenn treasurer shit list, because I don't think Jack likes me any more than Forrest did. So, Mary, if you look at the McCracken angle, if you go back to the original document, the basic original document claims that.
Oh, we hit 30, by the way.
Okay. Well, okay, we hit it. I won't let it go back down. We've hit 30, right?
Yep.
So if we go back to the original document, McCracken's case is based upon his conviction that Forrest had the treasure hidden in New Mexico where he was looking, and when he realized that McCracken was close to the treasure, he took it, he recovered it, Forrest recovered it, and put it someplace else. And since then, since Forrest didn't actually die in September of 2020, he's been moving it around, so McCracken hasn't been able to find it. And I don't know the part about where the women come in. They've been mentioned in some of the documents, but there's women that Forrest Fenn is harassing and being crazy with. So.
A 92-year-old dead man is harassing me.
Yeah.
Call the
Apparently
police.
the woman isn't much younger. Like, she's getting to the point, apparently, and then this, I haven't seen the actual motion that's to this, but she's asked the judge, leave me the hell out of this. The guy that is alive, McCracken, is nuts. I don't know who Forrest Fenn is. Toby, I'd be happy to send you Uber dollars for a good report. You know what? I will give you a good report. So we started to go up where our plan was to go up this last Friday. And Shelley and I don't have, because we love traveling up to Santa Fe and visiting and finding a nice place to eat. But they were only accepting appointments on Fridays. They don't need appointments any other day, but on Friday they were accepting appointments. And so I couldn't find one. They didn't have one open for me. Not for me, but they didn't have one open. And then what happened is, in addition to that, so I called Shelley and we decided to go back to working on this PRX Google thing, and we finished it up gratefully. And I made a big pot of ham and beans, man. You want to have my ham and beans?
I did.
You did have ham and beans. Anyway, what happened?
And Kevin made me some today, so I had more.
Pardon me?
I said Kevin made me some today.
Oh, I did. I was thinking about it after you leave.
Leftover ham.
Usually I give you a little take-home package, and I forgot all about it. So, but you did that with the ham that I gave you guys? Oh, good. That's
Kevin
glad
did.
you used it that
Kevin
way.
made me dinner.
Yeah, great.
See, that's how well he's doing.
You are spoiled.
I asked him to.
Yeah. Okay.
Tomorrow I'll give him a haircut too.
I'm not ready for
Pay him
one.
back.
About another week. Anyway.
Anyway.
What question was I answering? Put up Mary's question again.
Mary's question?
Who was it? Maybe I should have said. Maybe I should have said why McCracken. Oh, okay. So I can only theorize. Why? Uh, I remember doing a show on our channel. So we did, we had over 700 shows on our channel for A Gypsy's Kiss. One of the shows was early on. We did a stream on what we would do if we found the treasure. Then later on, before the treasure was found, we did one on what would we do if the treasure was found, but it wasn't us. And we talked about what do we do. We talked about pivoting and doing other things. We'd let it go. We'd move forward. I put from late 2012 to 2000, I put 8+ years into this. I spent thousands of hours with Shelley making videos associated with it. We made 32 or 37 trips to all 4 treasure states in areas. I mean, we were one of the first in Wyoming, looking in Wyoming, where at the time warm waters halted at the fire hole, entering what was then that part of the river is the Gibbon. It's not the Madison. It enters fire. Warm waters halt at the fire hole. So we put a lot of time and money and effort into this, but we never felt entitled to it. And to prove that, the following day, Shelley said, "What are we going to do next?" And we went on with our lives. There are people in this treasure hunt that still feel entitled to have owned that treasure. One of the reasons we made that one video that said, what are we going to do if the treasure is found and it's not us, was to help us kind of absorb the fact that we've got to do something else with our lives if we don't find the treasure. Some people haven't done that, and I think McCracken is one of them. They convinced themselves that they had the right solution, even though he was looking in New Mexico. I mean, I spent a lot of time in New Mexico. The warm waters of New Mexico being from the state, that was mine, right? And
Fishing.
and
South out fishing.
when somebody said, "Oh, they said it was in Wyoming," I had to look at all the work that I'd put in, the dozens, if not hundreds, if not thousands of hours of work into that, and say, I had 2 choices at that point. I could say, damn it, I didn't get it. Or I could say, no, that's not true. It was in New Mexico and Forrest moved it. And I don't think there's a lot of them. Barbara Anderson was one. She claimed that it was in New Mexico. Erskine was one. He claimed it was in Colorado. Sandow was one. He claimed it was on the San Lazaro property. So there were people that were so closely tied to this treasure, they felt it was theirs. And no matter who had found it, whether it was Jack or Toby and Shelley or Mary Green or whomever, they would have not stopped there. They would have sued me, or they would have sued you, or they would have sued whoever else found it, because in the mentality that they built up over several years. Barbara didn't look for it that long. I mean, she wasn't looking for it for 8 or 10 years. She got it in 2018 or something like that. I don't know how long Erskine was looking at it, but I don't think he was in it for any more than 2 or 3 years. So they didn't put in the time that a lot of other people. Look at poor, I don't want to say poor, Cynthia. Hundreds, maybe even thousands of trips, not only in New Mexico, but in Wyoming and Yellowstone and parts of Montana. I luckily she has the kind of income that allows her to do that, but that's a lot of time and effort. But I don't ever get the sense that there would be a suit from Cynthia saying I was entitled to that. Did I? Damn it! I don't have a drink. Thanks for reminding me, Huli. I don't ever remember her. I don't remember ever seeing in her like she was entitled to that treasure. She's had nothing but fun with it for herself, the way that she is, what she does with her retirement, and her relationship with the Fenn family. I don't know what it is, but I can't imagine that it's a disaster in the same way that people like McCracken must have. They just feel like the treasure should be theirs. They didn't find it. They didn't look in the right area, but somehow they have concluded the treasure should be theirs. And that it you know, that's you got to if you now think absolutely that Fenn hid this treasure in New Mexico and somehow managed to keep it away from you, that's not a whole lot crazy. That's a little bit I'm going to file a suit crazy. And that's where they are. I mean, I used to listen to Barbara when she used to appear on other of the YouTubers, and she's an attorney. She's a real estate attorney. She sounded perfectly rational until she got to the part about forced keeping the treasure from her. She was entitled to it, therefore there had to be a suit. I never saw Erskine when he was talking about it, but you could read some of the documents because that was a federal case. That wasn't a state case. That was a federal case because it was two states were involved. He was in Colorado and he filed it in New Mexico, so it had to be filed in a common court, and that's a federal court. So they were much easier to get. You could get those documents from Pacer. Unfortunately, the point that I was going to make is you can't get the documents covering this state case, because the state doesn't have the equivalent of Pacer. You have to go down there, point to the pages that you want, and they print them out for you, or whatever. And it's 35 cents a page. Pacer is free. So, okay, you want to do a giveaway?
Yeah.
Okay, here are the rules for the giveaway. Number one, you have to be a new winner. So those who've won in the recent past can't win again. You can answer the question. Number two, in just a moment, you're going to see a telephone number scrolling across the bottom. Call or text. It's 505-750-2744. And you're going to text the answer to the question to that number. The first text I receive with the correct answer to Shelley's question will be the winner. And then I'm going to ask you to text your shipping address. Now, some of you, since you've won before, like Lorraine had won before, and so I had her address anyway. I'm going to ask you to send ask me to send your shipping address anyway. Okay. All right.
And the winner gets?
Give me a camera view.
It's already there.
Okay. The winner gets the following. The choice of our two latest books. You'll get a choice of Women in Podcasting, which is a series of 18 interviews that we conducted at the She Podcasts 2021 conference in someplace in Arizona. Or Scottsville?
Mm-hmm. Or
Scottsdale.
Yes.
Oh, I thought you said Scottsville.
Scottsdale.
Okay. Or the Livecast Life book, which is our most recent book. And it's almost 300 pages worth of how we do what we do, from live streaming, everything, all the details of live streaming, podcasting, blogging, publishing books on Amazon, how to get on the Amazon live stream thing. So everything you wanted to know about how we do what we do. Okay.
Yeah. And we'll sign it.
And
whatever book you choose.
Right. And you get a beautiful picture of Shelley that I took, and you get a beautiful picture of me that Shelley took.
And 2 coins and 2 postcards.
You get the original AGK treasure coin, right?
Mm-hmm.
Treasure chest coin.
These are real coins. They're not these imaginary crypto coins.
Yeah, these are real. And you also get an AGK Mariah's Cash coin, which was the one. Right. You get coin number 47.
Woohoo.
Okay.
And 2 postcards.
And then in addition to that, you get 2 postcards. One
suitable for framing
that I shot in Louisiana of Mariah's house. And then the English translation, the one that we translated into French. So this is the poem that Shelley
wrote. The original
English poem that we translated into French for the book. Okay.
That's right.
All right. Let me open up that phone number so that I'm ready for everything.
So we're going to put the trivia question in the chat, and we'll put it up on the screen as well. And then the first one to text the correct answer to our phone number.
So, yeah, that's right. JK Pioneer says crypto or speculation tokens. That's absolutely right. Okay, I need to go to the text thing. Okay, there we are. All right. If you're ready, I'm ready. So here
Okay.
comes the question. The first person that answers it to that text to that number, wins the prize.
What was the name of the award-winning short screenplay that Toby and Shelley wrote? Spelling counts.
Wow. Wow. I don't think can you Google that?
Dun, 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 dun.
You got a
Just had
backup
some
question in case
Jeopardy
they
music.
want to close?
No, that's the question.
Let's see.
Got to find the answer. Suitable for framing. Red Dawn.
Red Dawn. Yum. First one was great. The second one was terrible.
If I'm warmer, it must be in New Mexico.
Let's see.
So remember, you gotta
I've got
text
let's
the
see.
answer. Text the answer to
440
what was the
says
name?
IDK'd. I don't know.
What was the name of the award-winning short screenplay that Toby and Shelley wrote together?
When was it? Do you remember?
Did you say when?
Yeah.
I think it was
2015.
2015.
Yeah, that's about right.
I think it was 2015.
We got an award from the Women in Film. We sure had good relationships with women, don't we?
New Mexico Women in Films.
Fabulous,
In space. We were
So,
in
The
space.
Fabulous Adventure of Toby and Shelley at Space. What is this one? Yen says, The Mysterious Secrets of the Rio de los Pinos. Let's see. Shelley at lunch. Davio says. Oh, I didn't. Rio de los Pinos is alive. No, it was
Toby at
can I give a
Tiffany's.
hint? Can I give a hint?
No, why should you?
Well, just a
They
little
should
one.
know this.
Okay. Okay.
Okay.
Okay.
You're too easy. That's why people figured out our treasure hunt in like days.
Yeah, we got to get better at not giving away the hints now.
That's right.
Let's see. 949 says Gone with the Wind? Question mark? No.
Short screenplay.
No. Jens can't win. You can only win if you haven't already won. Shots. Did you hear
That's
that?
right. That's right. And you got to text the answer. You can't just put it in the chat.
Yeah. Wait. Davia says, wait. All right. So while they're doing that, what else you want me to talk about? Let me see. What else did I have? We talked about Ukraine. We talked about the Institute for the Study of War. We talked about forestfentreasure.com.
That's all we had for the major stuff. If you guys have questions about anything else, put them in the chat.
Book.
Do our best to answer them.
Talk about Sickly Vlad.
Could be anything.
I think that's it.
You could ask us anything.
Ask us anything. We'll answer,
That's
even
right.
if it doesn't make sense.
Ask us anything.
Ask
Other than what was the name of the award-winning short screenplay?
575 says 1,000 voices.
Interesting.
You know what was fun yesterday as we were filling out this this form for the PRX Google application. They asked us what had we done in the way of podcasts, and we had, I don't know, 5 or 6. Right?
No, it wasn't written. No, our book was not written in screenplay form.
Oh, you mean A Gypsy's Kiss?
Yeah, somebody at Larry asked that.
Yeah,
Okay,
no,
Larry.
we never did write it in screenplay form.
David Paisano, Dancing in the...
Oh, nice. Wow. Where did you find that one?
I think they Googled us. Remember, you have to text it.
You have to text it. It doesn't count unless you text. Sisters in Service. Isn't that you know what that is?
It was a podcast that you were on.
What?
That was a podcast
Sisters
you
in
were on.
Service. Yeah, that was I was invited to be a guest on that podcast.
Yeah.
Bless her heart. Did that show up? They're Googling it. That's what's going on.
Yeah. That's okay. If you've already won, though, right? You don't get to win again? Is that what you said?
Yeah. Now, if you already won, you can't win again. You have to, and you have to text it. You have to text it.
That's right.
And if you're already a winner,
So
you can't
choose
win
the
again.
dance.
What was the? We did a. What do they call those? Proposed. What do they call? There's a name for them. The short. You do a short film to propose an idea.
Treatment?
A treatment. We did a treatment called Dancing in the Dark.
That's right. It was yeah.
It was a environmental spy flick. It was cool.
Yeah.
Living the
That-
dreams with curveball, says 949. 949 straight.
That's another podcast I was on.
Oh, is that you were on that one?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. And you're hitting all our 1,000 voices.
I was
Ooh,
on
281 came close. No cigar, 281. Nope, still.
Someone's got a text.
Oh, yeah. I have a winner. Hopefully they aren't. So it took them 3 times to get it out. All right. So I do have a winner. And the number starts with area code 949. Oh, let me see. I'm sorry. Hold on. Who's in here? I'm sorry. Hang on.
You got to give us your name, people.
Where'd it go? Where'd it go?
I don't know.
Okay. So the winner is starts with area code 281. And I won't give the name until 281 lets me know who they are and their shipping address. So do 2 things. Send me a text with your screen name, your real name. Dancing in the Moonlight. That's good. What? Who's 281? 281, show me who you are.
Is it GL Cannon? I don't know.
I don't know. Oh, I see. So GL Cannon says that's exactly what happened.
Oh, okay.
So GL Cannon is the winner. And the correct name is oh, look, they found Comfort.
Well, it's all on Video Tarot, isn't it?
Oh, it is. Yeah, you're right.
So the answer is Scratching Cat.
Scratching Cat with a K, and it was
because
based
it's
on
short for a woman's name.
Yeah,
Catherine.
her name is actually Catherine. Not actually, but in the book we named her Catherine. And it's based on experiences that I had when I was in. Was that Iraq? That was Iraq, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's where she got scratched.
The answer is Scratching Cat.
That's right.
And GL Cannon is our winner, and I have his address. GL Cannon. We usually make a mail run on
Which
Wednesdays.
book do you want, GL
Oh,
Cannon?
yeah. Which one do you want? You got a choice.
Livecast Life or Women in Podcasting?
You got a choice of Livecast Life, Women in Podcasting. Either will be correctly signed. It's got a little chooby joob on it. I'll have to give you a better one. So you have your choice. Rooster says, I vote. Why do we say redo? That was an honest play, and Jens didn't win because people would have complained. Scratching Cat is the screenplay, and it won an award at the New Mexico Women in Film, right?
That's right. We won a book, and we won $100. And the award, of course.
Yeah. So GL, Greg says he wants Livecast Life. All right. I will wait for you. Shelley will be here on Tuesday. We'll get it signed, and then Wednesday we'll make a run to the post office. All right.
Congratulations.
Congratulations. Big winner.
Applause.
And we'll continue to do that when we get, maybe next week we can try at 40. We did get to 30 tonight.
That's right.
40.
It's going to go up every week. It's going to be a little more.
And then this is the last of the Gypsy's Kiss, not for resale. There was only 5 of them. And this is the one that Shelley made all the notations about the hints in the book. So this is a one of a kind.
That's right.
There's no others like this for A Gypsy's Kiss. And this was actually from the second edition, so we corrected all the errors in this. So this one
So
had pictures in it.
that's right. And very
This
good.
one had pictures in it too. We took the time to take photos
Oh, yeah.
of all the
Of each
people that
person
we
in there.
interviewed.
Yep.
Where's Shelley? Shelley's in this book because
The very end.
we interviewed her as well. There we go.
There I am. Of course, I'm on screen already anyway. So
Yeah, you're prettier on screen. But I like I like that black and white that we did. Okay, Greg, you will get a copy of Livecast Live. We'll put in the mail. It goes media mail, so it goes USPS media mail, which is a little bit slower. But let's see. We sent Lorraine's out on Lorraine. What day do you remember? What day you got yours? Jens, have you gotten yours yet? Because I just sent it out on Wednesday. So,
word.
all right. You got anything else that you want to talk about? Anybody have anything else they want to talk about?
I think we're good.
Anybody in the room have anything they want to talk about?
We have 8 minutes left.
Oh, okay. Well, I can talk.
Not yet. Jens has not got his book yet.
Oh, okay. It went out on Wednesday, and like I said, it goes out on media mail. And you did get the.
And Lorraine got hers at the start of the week. So
Okay, so you'll probably get Jens. You'll probably get on Monday.
Monday or Tuesday.
I want to see if I already have Greg and Pirate Ship. See who's there.
So how are the fires doing around here?
Everything around here is burned down, but we're still under a fire watch. Everything along.
Because we had super hard winds yesterday. So
Yeah.
that would have been
Oh,
bad.
that was the rest of the story.
Oh.
Now the rest of the story. So on Friday, the road between Albuquerque and Santa Fe is I-25, Interstate 25. And it's a good interstate. I mean, it's got a couple of goofy things in it, like La Bajada. But they closed the road down because of the winds. The winds were so stiff.
Oh, wow.
We had 38 mile an hour winds with 55 mile an hour gusts on Friday. And there was a point at which
there was a dust storm warning, and it said till 7:45, and I didn't leave till after 8, and it was still pushing my car. Yeah. It's like, dang.
So when you walk out my front door over, as you look over to the east, you can see the beautiful Sandia Mountains. I get, that's like my wake up thing, is to see the beautiful Sandias. The dust was blowing, the winds were blowing so hard that they were putting enough dust in the air that I couldn't see the Sandia Mountains. And they're not that far away from me. I mean, it was that bad. Anyway, state police closed I-25. So even if we had gotten as far as Santa Fe, we couldn't have come back. They didn't open up again until 9 o'clock. So that's how
we didn't go. It's a mess.
Shot says, welcome back, Toby and Shelley. You know what? We missed you guys too. We do a lot of things. We keep ourselves busy. We have clients. We have live streams and podcasts, but we missed the conversation. So we're going to be here on Saturday nights just for conversation. I like talking about the war because I have kind of insights to it, and I love talking about it. But we'll talk about other things as well.
Toby always wanted to be a war correspondent for the news, so this gives him that chance.
And I got a chance. I mean, that was my
check
big
that
plan.
off the bucket list.
And I got a chance to do that, not as a correspondent, but a lot of the work that I did for the feds was journalistic style, although it ended up in a lot of documentary films. So scared the crap out of me in the 70s. Where are you, Mary Green? Are you in Texas, Oklahoma? I remember driving through Texas with my dad back in the olden days, where you had to pull over. That was before interstates. And we used to go to the auctions in Amarillo and Lubbock, back where they had the auto auctions. And there were times where you'd had to pull over and because of the dust. And the only thing that you could hope, because that was before instant stop cars, that you pulled over and that some truck who didn't see you because of the dust ran you over. I mean, it's pretty crazy.
Yeah, you're supposed to pull off off the road and turn your lights off so people don't follow you.
Yeah, Mount Rainier, Mount Rainier. They don't like
Oh,
Rainier.
in Arizona, yeah, absolutely. They
Yeah.
even have haboobs in Arizona.
I like that they. I like going to Arizona and saying, "Are you guys going to have a haboob?" Just because I like saying haboob. Haboob this. Haboob. All right, let's not be crazy. It's too late to be crazy. All right, Jens, you'll probably get your book on Monday, and
Sometime this week. Let's just say that.
yeah, and Greg, I will put yours. We go to the post office on Wednesday, so I'll put it in then with all the other stuff. And we got a lot of those coins and postcards to give away. So even if we don't have to run out of books. I mean, I can still buy if you guys are interested in me getting copies of the A Gypsy's Kiss book because you prefer fiction versus nonfiction. Just let me know, and I'll buy a bunch of copies of that. We'll give those away. It's still a good.
If you haven't already gotten some, because we gave a
Yeah.
lot away to begin with.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So if you want to, you know what? I'm going to order them tonight so that we have them by next week's show. How's that? I think I can get them by next week.
Order what?
Pardon?
Oh, more
Some
Gypsy's Kiss books.
Yeah, yeah. We don't have any other. We've given away all the others and sold all the others we have.
That's true. I have one for me.
And I have one
That's
for
mine.
me that I'm not prepared to give away just yet. So,
And it was signed to me from you.
all right. I'm not going to play the outro because it's not the right outro. We have to make one for
Yeah,
headlines.
you need to work on that.
Yeah.
We'll do that this week.
Yeah.
We got a little bit of time this week.
Now
don't
that
we?
we got that damn application done,
Now that that thing's done, we can
yeah, we can
do other things. We still got to do a proposal for Peter, but we'll get everything done.
We'll do that on Proposify.
Okay.
I can do the outro here. I can do this outro.
All right. Well,
All right.
we'll see you guys again next week or Wednesday if you feel like hanging out then.
And also, if there are topics that you want us to address on the Saturday night shows, thank you, Mary. If there are topics you want to address, send a text message to that number or send
Email
an email to support.
at agkmedia.studio.
Right. Support at agkmedia.studio. The text is better for me because it pops up right in front of me here. So yeah, if there's things that you want us to talk about, we're willing to talk about it unless you're filing a suit against the Forrest Fenn family. All right.
All right.
Guys, you have a great Saturday night. Have an even better all-day Sunday. And then keep an eye out for us on our other shows. And join us on Thursdays at 1 o'clock on our Amazon live show because we have our own Amazon live stream. And
That's
we
right.
talk about some cool stuff, man.
Yeah.
Some Davio stuff. We talk about stuff.
We had a free giveaway at our family meeting today.
Oh, did you give away the stuff from Vaughn's?
Yeah, to the kids. So I was like, "Oh, who wants this?" And they're, "Oh, we'll take that."
Yeah, we got it. We had a couple of weeks ago. We had a company that sent us a bunch of stuff, a bunch of electronic and lights and all kinds of things, and they asked us to do a show on their stuff, and they sent us the box. They sent us a box of stuff. So we had a good time, and
Yeah.
I'm glad
Kevin grabbed the yard lights right away.
Oh
These
yeah,
are mine.
those
went
are
out,
good lights.
took
Those
them
are
out in the
good lights, and
backyard.
he's got great light back there in the backyard. So
Yeah.
all right, guys, we will see you at a minimum next Saturday evening at 7 p.m. Mountain Daylight Time. Thank you for joining us tonight.
Is our PayPal the same? I think it is.
PayPal is the same. No, it's not.
Oh.
PayPal had to change to Video Tarot. Let me put in the chat. No, just a bunch of
Better answer that question before we leave.
Yeah, PayPal is still now. We do have Super Chat here as well. If you want to do it that way, this does have.
She likes PayPal.
So PayPal is this.
Mary Green, you can go to follow.videotarot.live to find the Amazon live stream, or you can watch it on YouTube on the Video Tarot Live YouTube channel.
The PayPal is videotarot@gmail.com. We had to change it for Amazon.
Yes, that's true.
That's the channel. Let me show you what if you go to follow. Let me just show it to you.
That's right.
So that's our Amazon store. And that's where we do the live streams. And you can see all the past live streams there. And our relationship with, oops, I'm over here.
That's actually not the store. That's just the channel
Right. If you go to the store, if you say
on Amazon.
store.amazon.com, I'm sorry,
Yeah.
store.videoterror.com will take you to the store. But what happens is you set up these little, what do you call them? The things that you're going to talk about, and
Carousel.
carousel. And people can go visit them when you're talking about them. And then as we're talking about them, you'll see right here, I'm going to move it out just a little bit. That's us talking about each of these products, and they're products that I've used, right? They're products that I've owned and used. And sometimes we make videos with them, but we talk about all of them. And
That
we're
was a good
trying,
bike riding video you did.
pardon me?
That was a good bike video you had down there.
Oh yeah, that was done with the original Osmo. with the
Yeah, I
Osmo.
saw that.
Yeah, it was a very good. I mean, it did that kind of stuff really, really well. So anyway, if you join us on Amazon Live, 1 p.m. on Thursdays, 1 p.m. Mountain Daylight Time on Video Tarot, or if you want to go to the Amazon one, it's follow.videotarot.com.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Shelley just put that in the chat room so you guys can see
I
it there.
did.
And of course, I'm in my photo studio there. So
All right. I think that's all the information people can stand for one
stand
night.
for one night.
So
All right, I'm going to go
back
back
to
to
it.
Fran. Say your good nights last time.
Bye. Thanks for joining us tonight, and we hope to see you again next week.
We do. We look forward to it. You guys have a great week.
Thank you for joining Messages and Methods Livecast Live 2.0, hosted by Shelley Carney and Toby Eunice. Please subscribe and leave a comment or question, and we'll consider your ideas for future shows. Share this podcast with your family and friends so they can learn about current digital marketing practices too. Check the show notes for links and resources, and please come back again next week.